Cigar not quite finished. I thought I'd just add a little bit of a side note to my de kooning put. Here's a quirky little thought. Think about this. I've been considering this idea about abstract expressionism. In my de kooning put, I mentioned the fact that I think it was actually the idea of abstract expressionism as a cultural movement, a US-based cultural movement to dominate the planet, the vision that a person might have. I'm sure somebody in India couldn't give a shit about abstract expressionism because they have their culture. It is so deep, it is so profound. Abstract expressionism is like a little blip. It's like one of those little heartbeats on the monitor. That's about it. But anyway, there are always these people that have great, there's a lot of hubris in the American notion of culture, that they think they have really conquered the planet with their culture, their McDonald's and their Gaps and their corporate entities, and they're reproduced, they're replicated in Europe, in Germany, France, wherever. They're all over the place. It's a version of the same thing. So here comes this movement of art, abstract expressionism. That's exactly it. It's like a fume of very dark smoke. Okay, look at this. The WPA was a program in the 30s. Roosevelt was someone who said you can't leave artists on the street sleeping on park benches. That's what they were doing. They were sleeping on park benches, more or less. All these people. There was very little activity relative to what we have now. There's incredible amounts of money, billions and billions of dollars going into the whole art thing. You know, the collectors, these rebels and Mugrabes with their 800 or 1,000 Warhols, which are basically worthless probably, but they keep up this pretense of this very important work being out there, and if I ever had any expectation of promoting my own work, this is the nail in the coffin for me. Yeah, those types that think they're sitting on a great treasure trove of great art, fantastic art. No, it's not. But like I said in the de kooning put, it had some meaning to me because it freed me up. It allowed me to go where I wanted to go without being trapped in the, to some extent, and I say this with a little asterisk, you know, that carcass of the past. Because I don't really want to feed off that carcass. And when you get to a certain point, you're actually your own person, you do your own thing, you're by yourself. Anyway, here's a quick thought. This abstract expressionist movement really grabbed a hold. It became planetary in a Western world sense. And I think it was funded. It was funded. And I think it was actually something that, this may sound a little flaky, but the Central Intelligence Agency, their prime objective is to make their country the most dominant country on the planet. What does that include? Well, culture is a huge component. You go into any Western country and people want to go and see paintings and music and performances in museums. So you don't go to Paris and just sit in a cafe. Well, I was in Paris sipping stuff in a cafe, and I want to go back and do it again. But you can only sip so much cognac, have cigars, and you know, drink that coffee. Your spoon stands in the coffee. There's only so much. You want to have some entertainment. You want to feel like somebody's giving stuff to you. Well, that's culture, and culture is a huge component. And if you can actually make culture serve your purpose, you're way ahead of the game. Think of this. A lot of these shows that traveled to Europe, the abstract shows, were funded by an organization in the US, may have come through a museum kind of channel or something, but where did the money come from? And I believe there is a good argument to be made that the CIA would have been instrumental in promoting this work, abstract expressionist work, because it was part of the front that was being created to make American culture the dominant culture on the planet. Just like the way they are right now, they want to be the dominant, the bull in the china shop. They're going to knock everything down because they haven't got a clue. They really don't have a clue. The only thing is brute force. And brute force, where does it end? Destruction.